We continue with the lecture from where we stopped. The last lecture we mentioned about Garuka Kammas. Akusala Garuka Kammas, only we could finish. Right? So there are two types of Akusala Garuka Kammas, Niyata Michajiti and 5 Anantariya Kammas, heinous deeds. And if someone has done these deeds, there is no way of preventing the next rebirth from the having in the hell. So if you go to page number 53, 10.83, there are some Akusala Kammas which are very heavy but are not considered as Garuka Kammas. However, due to their heaviness, those Kammas are termed as Anantariya Sadisa Kammas, similar to Anantariya. So what are these Kammas? Termed as Anantariya Sadisa. Killing a lower noble being. Because killing Arahant is Anantariya. How about killing Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, right? So I gave Anagami, Sakadagami, Sotapanna due to heaviness. Anagami is more heavy. So then killing an animal mother or father. An animal killing another animal. Sometimes it happens. So it's a very huge Kamma, but not Anantariya. The reason is their mind is not sharp enough for the Kamma to come into the level of Anantariya. Then killing a non-human Arahant, that is especially for Yakhas. That Yakhas can become Sotapanna and all the 4 attainments. Like so you remember Alavaka, Satagira, Himavakta, they all became Sotapannas. So likewise, Yakhas, the Bhuma Devas means who are living near to the earth. So these deities who are belonging to the Chatu Maharajika realm can attain all 4 types of attainments, noble attainments, and they may live their entire lifespan even as an Arahant. But if someone attains Arahanthood in the Deva world or Anagamihood in Deva world, instantly they will die from there. Arahant will attain Parinibbana, a Deva would pass away and be born in the Brahma realm. So, but Bhuma to Devas means, when we say Bhuma to Devas, it also includes Yakhas, Vinipatika Asuras, Vemanika Asuras. So these kind of beings who are not very luxurious, not living a very luxurious life. So they can be killed by certain means, by the humans. So if someone kills a non-human Arahant, like this kind of a non-human being, it is a very huge Kamma, but also not an Anantariya. Then also I didn't mention this now, a non-human killing a human Arahant, also like it's not an Anantariya, but because the non-human's mind is not sharp enough to come into the level of humans. This based on the fundamental Buddha mentions, the human mind is sharper than that of Devas and those humans in the Uttarakuru, the humans in Jambudvipa. So then destroying the pagodas enshrined with the Buddha's relics, a Bodhi tree, and attempting to destroy Buddha's relics. Destroying a pagoda enshrined with Bodhi relics and destroying a Bodhi tree, and also attempting to destroy the dhatus, because according to our literature, Buddha's relics cannot be destroyed by other means. That is by attempting, right? They will get burned by nature when at a certain time, in a certain moment. All the dhatus relics will gather at one place and they will be burned together. So these are also some types of kammas which are very heavy, and also that would give hitting an Arahant, hurting an Arahant, hurting a noble being, hurting the parents with the evil intention. They are also very heavy kammas. Then there are some more akusala kammas that hinders the noble attainment of a being in the present life, but not the rebirth in a sugati. We mentioned the akusala garuka kammas I mentioned as saggavarana. Saggavarana means hinders your next rebirth in a sugati. Then we have another term called maggavarana or mukhavarana. Mukhavarana means it hinders your attainment, noble attainments. Maggavarana and Saggavarana, Mukhavarana. For example, the 5 heinous deeds. 5 heinous deeds. Then 3 fixed wrongdoings. They are both Saggavarana and Maggavarana. Right? So if something is Saggavarana, if someone cannot go to heaven's afterlife, surely he is not able to attain in this life. Right? So if something is Saggavarana, surely it's a Maggavarana. Maggavarana means he is not able to attain within this life. And there are 3 karmas we call seducing a bhikkhuni, bhikkhuni dusana, then we call teya samvasaka, teya samvasana. Teya samvasaka is the one who do. Teya samvasana means stealing the appearance of a monk, and titiya pakkantaka, pakkamana. These 3 does not hinder the Sagga. You can attain to Sagga after that. But they will hinder the attainment, Magga. Right? They will hinder the Magga. What is these things? Bhikkhuni dusana, having sex with a fully ordained bhikkhuni, upasampanna bhikkhuni. So with regard to this bhikkhuni dusana kamma, the Sarata Dipani Tika and the Majjhima Nikaya Tika further clarify that seducing a noble bhikkhuni, if she is a noble bhikkhuni would never have this sexual act with consent, and raping a putujana bhikkhuni without her consent entails a karma that would prevent the possibility of reaching a sugati in the immediately following life. That is a very heavy karma. So a person who seduces a noble bhikkhuni or rapes a bhikkhuni who putujana bhikkhuni without her consent, so they would also, we can say, their next life will also be in the hells. But the thing is, why we put this bhikkhuni dusana only in Maggavarana? The thing is, if the man has sex with the bhikkhuni with her consent, the karma will only prevent the present life supramundane attainments, but not the sugati in the following life. The sub-commentary further states that such a karma prevents the lokuttara attainments, since the doer defiles the practice that has been initiated to attain the liberation. So even the bhikkhuni gives her consent for this act, still the man who commits it will not be able to attain magga or no noble attainments within this life. So these 3 karmas, the bhikkhuni dusana is another specific karma, and also a monk who does, anyone who has done this act, this has to be a full-fledged, fully ordained bhikkhuni, not a samanera or a sikkamana. So then, because her sila is very heavy, then he is not possible to be ordained in our sasana, even as a samanera. The man is not able to get the ordination, not even the samanera ordination, because it is impossible for him to attain fruition in this life. So his practice is not worthy. So Buddha would keep them away. Teya Sangvasa means, Teya Sangvasana or Sangvasa means stealing the appearance of a monk. Stealing appearance means you wear the robes by yourself, and a person wears the robe by himself and pretend to be a monk in front of lay people. Still, it's not called Teya Sangvasa. Teya Sangvasa is he pretends to be a monk. Monk has to be ordained. Buddhist monk has to be ordained by a teacher. All the monks had a teacher. Some had the teacher. Buddha has the teacher, or they are senior monks. So someone ordains by himself without a teacher is not considered as a monk. So knowing that this is a karma, knowing that this is cheating, a monk wears the robes and goes into a monastery or goes in front of a monk and pretends to be a monk, or goes in front of samaneras and pretends to be a samanera or a monk. Then he cheats the monks community. Then he is considered as a Teya Sangvasaka. But if he just go for the lay people's house and get the donation, it's a bad karma, but he's still not a Teya Sangvasaka. He has to mislead the monks with his appearance. Titiya Pakkamana means going to another sect doesn't mean just changing the religion. A fully ordained monk goes to another sect without relinquishing his upasampada. With the status of a monk, he enters the sect, observes their religious rites and rituals. That time is called a Titiya Pakantaka. It's not just changing the lineage, changing the tradition. If he goes there having relinquished his upasampada, it is not considered as Titiya Pakanta. So a monk, because it's a very huge disrespect is there. He doesn't give up his ordination, this sila, he doesn't care about it. With the ordination, he goes to the Titiya, another sect, and then observes the rites and rituals. And then he is called a Titiya Pakantaka. Right? So these two also. Because he is disrespecting the sila of Upasampada, monk's own sila, Titiya Pakantaka. Teya Sanvasaka, because he misleads the monks, Bhikkhuni Dusaka, who disturbs the Bhikkhuni in her path, they would not be able to attain Magga according to our tradition within this life, but they are possible. There is a possibility that they may come, having corrected their deeds, they may be able to attain a Sugati realm after their death. But for the Bhikkhuni Dusaka, if the Bhikkhuni was a noble person, or if the raping happens by force without her consent, then our tradition says, the Theravada says, he would also miss the opportunity to be born in a Sugati realm. Right? So Bhikkhuni Dusaka should be analyzed in that way. Right? So other are, right, they will have the best possibility to have the possibility. Doesn't mean they will go, they have the possibility. It's not the next life, Sugati is not prevented. Yes. Yeah.
So for the Bhikkhuni, the noble Bhikkhuni and getting raped,
yeah.
Which one would it be? Niyata Kamma or Anantariya Kamma?
We don't distinguish it as Niyata Kamma. They should say like, because there are three possibilities. Raping a noble Bhikkhuni, raping a Putujana Bhikkhuni by force, and having sex with a Putujana Bhikkhuni with her consent. So all three are considered as Bhikkhuni Dusana. So we call it Bhikkhuni Dusana only prevents the Magga. But if you focus on the first two only, they would say it will prevent it. But they are not saying, what their teachers say is, it is not possible to say that they would attain a Sugati. It is like, it seems a very heavy karma. The example gave that, as you said, the Nanda Manavaka who raped the Uppalavana. Immediately he was born in the hells. So therefore they say, if in such two scenarios, they would say it's not possible. You cannot say that it is possible for them to go to a good realm. But within our tradition, we don't recognize them as the Niyata and Anantariya, because in the Dhamma Sangani we have only 6 types of karmas, Niyata, Michya, Ditti and 5 invasives. But our tradition recognizes if someone does those two, it is not possible for him to attain a good realm in the next life. Then we come to another very interesting type of karma, not interesting actually, the 10.85. It is called Ariya Upavada and Ariya Paribhasana. Right, Ariya Upavada and Ariya Paribhasana. You can see this in the bold letters. Ariya Upavada is accusing a Arya, noble being, whether he is a whether he is a laity or a monk, doesn't matter. It's accusing. Accusing means like a fool, oxen, something like that, with the bad words, right? So then Ariya Paribhasana means threatening. Oh, I'll look after you, and something threatening to kill him, threatening to punish him. I will take you to the king, so forth, with the evil intention. So with dosa chitta, if someone accuses a noble being, Buddha mentioned in a sutta, the sutta is Akkosa Sutta. He mentioned there are 5 disadvantages, 5 misfortunes that the person would encounter. That one is he will lose the opportunity to attain Magga in this life. One is he will have a death which is without mindfulness, asammoha marana, maybe crying and so forth, like it happened to Kokalika Bhikkhu, who accused Sariputta and Moggallana, and he will be born in a woeful realm. So therefore, our tradition says if someone does this Arya Upavada and Arya Paribhasana is not much mentioned, but it is mentioned in the sutta. That's why I brought it. Normally Arya Upavada is what is mentioned, but Buddha mentioned Arya Upavada and Arya Paribhasana. So both are considered very heavy. So if the thing is, after someone has done any of these two karmas, accusing a noble being or threatening a noble being, his Magga and Sagga both are prevented. He will not be able to attain Sugati in the next life, not the Magga in this life. But if he asks for the apologies, if he says sorry to him, like if he asks for the pardon, and the person pardons him, then it is said that because of his good act, the secondary good act, Payoga Sampati, that karma will not prevent his Sagga, neither it will prevent his Magga. Not the Sagga, not the Magga. It is possible for him to attain. But it doesn't guarantees. It doesn't guarantees. Even though he is able to stop it, right? But if the karma is very heavy, karma is very strong, there is a possibility that surely surely he would get bad effect in the samsara. It cannot be prevented completely. What they say is, it will not prevent your Sagga and it will not prevent your Magga. Right? It doesn't mean that he is sure to be born, he is sure to be free from the health. Right? Maybe due to another karma he may be born there. So, but the hindrance will be removed because of his secondary wholesome act of asking for pardon. Right? So, there is a story. Mahateva and a young monk was going for Pindapata. So the senior monk had a stomach problem, gastritis maybe. So as soon as he got the yagu, the gruel, so what he did was he went beside the road, sat on a log as I remember, and started to drink the yagu because it was so painful, and even in front of the devotees. The young monk was shocked because this is something that we don't do in Pindapata. You don't eat what you get instantly. So the young monk was embarrassed in front of the devotees. So he said, this old monk has not even the basic sila, something like that. He doesn't have no achara, no good manners. He's accused with dosa chitta. So both of them finished the Pindapata and came back. The senior monk slowly approached the young monk and asked, Venerable, have you had refuge in this sasana? So because you're a senior monk, he said, yes, Bhante, I have become a sotapanna in this sasana. Then he said, so Venerable, please do not try to attain the higher noble paths. You have just accused Arahant. So it says that even a lower noble being accuses a higher noble being, it will prevent his noble attainments in that very life. So he asked for the pardon, then he was able to progress. So therefore, this prevention is for this life only, not for the samsara. So not only for a putujana, even if a putujana does, his sagga and magga both be prevented till he asks for the forgiveness. If a noble being does the Aryupavada or Arya Paribhasana, Paribhasana may also be done, it will only prevent his higher maggas within this life till he asks for forgiveness. Yes.
If a higher noble being accuses the lower noble being.
The only possibility is Sakadagami accusing a Sotapanna, because Anagami would not have the dosa to accuse another one. The only possibility is Sakadagami accusing Sotapanna. But possibility is there because Parusa Vacha can be done by a Sakadagami. It is not Aryupavada.
And this accusing may not all of those are maybe just misunderstood this person. So continue.
Misunderstood is not an excuse. Misunderstanding is not.
Like this story you told that the young monk he is also misunderstood.
Yeah. So that is Aryupavada. Misunderstanding will not release you from the karma. For example, if he says seeing something which has been done wrongly with a good mind, like who has done this? You should not do like this. A noble, younger noble monk making a mistake. If he admonishes him, you should not do this. This is not proper for you. With a pleasant, there can be some dosa, but not the accusing one. This is accusation that hurts him.
And another common things often happen. Some monk, for example, some monk who come from this sect, they accuse another sect in general.
Sect.
Yeah,
okay.
Accuse another sect in general. But surely in other sects also have some noble beings.
You mean as accusing how? This sect doesn't practice Vinaya, something like that?
Various things, maybe accuse their Vinaya, maybe accuse their method of practicing anyway.
Accusing the method of accusing is not just blaming. This is like they don't have any jhana, maggapala. They don't have any sila. They don't have any good qualities. This kind of accusation should be there. It's not just generally saying he is not doing well, or his meditation technique is not suitable, or this has problems. These are not accusations.
About their opinions.
Sorry, opinions. Disagreeing with opinions is never accusation, right? But it has to be personal thing. Personal means personally accusing his based on his sila, his attainments, his good qualities. So these things is called Aryupa Vada. The thing is that is called Aryupa Vada. So one thing is one has to be a bit careful. As you asked, the misunderstanding does not releases you from Aryupa Vada. That is the very important thing. You may misunderstand this person as a putujana or an evil person and accuses and recognize that he was a very good noble being, whether you recognize or not. If he is a noble being, misunderstanding is not going to release you, because your accusation directly happens towards the noble being. That's the example which gave the Ambapali's case, right? She accused without knowing who it is. Yes.
So in both the case and example you gave, the monk and the accuser actually done it by speaking, like speech and body. What about mind?
Mind is not Aryupa Vada. No.
So let's say if you were a noble person and I was down, but I did not commit any karma by speaking or any bodily action, it just something to look down over the mind. It's not going to consider.
It's not going to be considered as Aryupa Vada, but it is a karma. It is a karma, but it is not going to be not a Aryupa Vada.
So it is a karma, but it's also
No.
But it is a karma.
It is a karma. It is a karma.
But it is not hinder your bhakta.
No. But it is, if the person is noble, it is quite very bad karma. So in such case, you can ask for forgiveness by your mind even. It's like, it's because it's done with the mind. Because when I asked this question from my teacher about, I asked very much, for example, would you not know? We cannot guarantee. Cannot say it, right? So I asked a question like this from my Mahatera. I made it more complicated. Because I accuse Deva, who is a noble. The accusation is that you accuse, and they can read our mind, right? So if they read the mind, they find that I'm accusing him. Still the accusation has been done directly, for example, right? So then the Mahatera mentioned, no, it has to happen verbally. It has to happen verbally. Physically, also it makes, like if you hit someone or threaten someone, physically also it is something that karma is committed. I'm not going to bold enough to say whether it is Aryupa Vada or not. It seems like if you physically threatens writing something, it still falls into Aryupa Vada. Or if you just write something that something like a fool or someone to a normal being, still it would commit as an Aryupa Vada. Seems like, right? Seems like. But mentally, no, it's not good. Then there is another one called mocking the nobles. Mocking the nobles is also a very bad karma. This was done by Kujuttara. Kujuttara, you know, the humpbacked noble disciple of the Buddha. She was she was best among the Dhamma preachers, among the female devotees, Upasikas. But she had a humpback. The thing was, Many lives ago, with her, she was working in the as I remember, working in the palace of the queen. But Pacheka Buddhas used to come to. King was a devotee of the Pacheka Buddhas. 8 Pacheka Buddhas were there. Out of them, one was a hunchback. So then one day, when the queens were gathered, they were like talking. This, I think she was a servant to my memory. So she wore a red colored cloth and pretended in front of everyone, for like out of fun. This is how our Pacheka Buddha walks. So she acted upon how the Pacheka Buddha walked, and with of like having fun for this. The Kamma says she had to be a humpback person because of making fun out of her Pacheka. It was not a Arya Upavada, or it was not a Arya Paribhasana. It was not done with the Dosa Mula Chitta. It was done to make fun out of this noble being. So this is very, we have to be a bit careful when we deal with the noble persons, because their Kamma is qualities are very stronger, very powerful. So it's always better to deal with them with careful. So normally they would say you have to consider them as the fire. You can get the benefit out of the fire, but you are not going to play with it. Right? You are going to play with the fire because it can burn you very heavily. So the good deeds that you do to a noble would fruit in very high level, would give fruits in very high level, but the akusala karmas we do to a noble will also have a similar return, right? So that is why it's very to be careful with the words, physical acts and mental acts when it comes to regarding the noble being, especially ones who are practicing.
So all of compassion human beings, the noble persons have the duty to avoid such kind of things happening.
That is not the way. It should be the other way, right? It should be the other way. The normal people should be very aware of that, to be careful with the samanas, I would call it. Sometimes they would do that. For example, the Kujutara, the same servant, she was a servant and a hunchback servant in the last life. So why she became a servant was, she was a queen during the Kassapa Buddha's time. So Arahants, female Arahants, Bhikkhunis used to come to her palace, and she was very friendly with them. Friendly with me, they knew her. So then what happened one day, being the queen, she had the arrogance. She told a Bhikkhuni, Arahant Bhikkhuni, she ordered, not asking for help, as a queen she ordered, bring me that jewelry box. So it was an order. So the Arahant Bhikkhuni thought, now she has already committed the thing, said it. So if I don't do it, she would really get angry with me, and she knew her mindset. It was said in such a ordering manner. Surely she would get angry and maybe hurt me or say something harsh. So this would cause her to suffer in the hell. But if I follow her order and give it to her, because it was said with such a mindset, ordering, she would be a servant in samsara. Then she compared, as you said, what is much better, suffering in the hell or being a servant? Servantness is better, so she followed the order, took the jewelry box out of compassion and gave to the queen. So it mentioned that she had to be a servant. The Kujutara was a servant in many lives after since then. Then she, even in the last life as a human, she ended up being a servant of the Samavati, right? Queen Samavati. So as you said, sometimes noble beings do consider in such cases, right?
So when they become noble beings, it's better inform others early.
That will not happen for sure.
If I say I'm a servant,
right? That will not be happen because sometimes they may stay away to avoid that. If the society is not very good, they may stay away. But also, for example, if you said, Buddha once did comparison to Magandia, the Queen Magandia. Queen Magandia was a beautiful lady, and she was offered to the king Udena, and she became one of the 3 queens. King had 3 queens, Samavati, Vasudadatta, and Magandia. So before she was offered to the king, the parents knew there should be a very special person to offer our daughter. So they were searching for such a man. So one day, the Buddha also knew the father and mother had the potential to become anagamis, and later they would become arahants. So then, because of that, to meet them, Buddha once did. Normally, when the Buddha walks, according to our tradition, his footprints will not remain after he walks. So he purposely made the footprints to be seen. So the father, who knew these marks of a human, seeing the footprints, knew this is a great human being, and called the mother and the daughter to follow. Then, seeing the footprint, mother said, it is impossible that this person would be attracted to sensual pleasures. This has to be a person who would surely give up the household life one day and attain a very high, good, noble state. Then the father said, but let's go and check. So then all three of them went. And then they offered the daughter to the Buddha. So Buddha wanted to explain the Asubha, but he had a choice. The commentary says he was going to look down the quality of the body, repulsiveness of the body, giving example of the daughter. Listening to this doctrine, the mother and father would become anagamis, but the daughter would implant a very strong enmity towards the Buddha, and in future there's a possibility that she would commit lots of akusalas against him. So Buddha had a choice. If I don't keep on silent, the daughter would not develop such an enmity. But this is the opportunity to give the Dhamma to the mother and father, and they would get liberated. So he taught, suffering in the samsara is normal to all the beings. Getting rid of the samsara is a much difficult opportunity. So he decided and taught the Dhamma, saying that I even do not want to touch this body with my foot because of the repulsiveness of this body. So this was a real strife for her, Magandhya, who was indulged in her beauty, and she grew up a very strong enmity. I will become the wife of a queen one day and surely take the revenge out of you. He developed enmity. In the end, she killed Samavati also because of this enmity, because she was a disciple of the Buddha. That was one reason, also a reason. And she ended up in the hell with a lot of suffering. But the mother and father got the wisdom with that saying, and they listened to the Dhamma, and they ended up being Sota Anagamis, and they gave up the household life. They gave the Magandhya to her uncle, and they ordained, and in the end they became Arahants. So in that case, Buddha decided, the Buddha's decision was that he followed to enlighten two types of, and it was not his fault. Buddha was not creating an enmity he was not insulting her. He was telling the Dhamma. It caused her to have the enmity. So likewise, in some cases, noble beings do make such choices. Right?
It means the sometimes people's happiness is built on others' suffering.
Yeah, that is the way of samsara. We cannot avoid that. That's why we have to get rid of this samsara. So then we go to the 10.86. Kusala Garuka Kamma. This is to say, that is the 8 or 9 jhanas. 8 or 9 jhanas. If someone attains any of the jhanas, he is sure to be born in the Brahma realm after death. But except for few reasons. This can be prevented. So therefore, Kusala Garuka Kammas are not said as Niyata or Anantariya, because they can be prevented. Akusala Garuka Kammas cannot be prevented. So why? What are the reasons? I have mentioned in the paragraph. One thing is, one may lose the jhana because of hindrance. Then that jhana is not going to give results any further in samsara. If you lose it because of hindrance. Sometimes you may lose the jhana because of too much busy, not entering into the jhana, either because of construction, either because of studying too much, either because of teaching too much. So because of whatever reason, if someone doesn't enter into the jhana frequently, he may also lose the jhana. The lost jhana is not going to produce any results in future. There is a sutta called Venerable Godika. Venerable Godika attained the jhana for 6 times and lost in all the times because he had to treat reoccurring disease. So when he was treating the disease, because he had to involve in his treatments and also it affected his body, so he lost the jhana for 6 times. So likewise, if the jhana is lost because of whatever reason, maybe a hindrance or whatever other reason, that jhana is not going to give result. It's like unlike the akusala anantariya karmas. Then higher jhana may prevent the lower jhana from giving a result, because it's not like the anantariya karmas. You have to overcome the jhana factors in order to attain the higher jhanas. And the wish jhana. Sometimes one may have all the 8 jhanas, but he may wish to be born in the second Brahma realm, third Brahma realm. So the wish jhana may give a rebirth over the other jhana. So in these cases, the akusala garuka karmas may not give the result. And sometimes the nikanti is a wish. A person who has jhana may sometimes wish to be born in the kama realm, human realm, deva realm, maybe to serve the sasana, maybe to meet the Maitreya Buddha, Bodhisattva in a divine realm. Even you have the jhanas, you may be having such a wish. So this nikanti, because he is a silavanta, because Buddha mentioned ijjati bhikkave silavato cheto panidhi, because of visuddhatha, because of his purity of sila, his wish becomes successful. So having a jhana, making a wish to be born in a lower realm or a kama realm may be successful. So likewise, jhana can be prevented from giving a rebirth when it is lost because of hindrances or because of some other reason, because of a wish, because of a higher jhana, or because of a desired jhana. So these factors, because of them, this garuka karma is not considered as niyata or anantariya. Right? So if you go to the second paragraph of the same topic, other than above specific cases, if one has attained jhana, he is certain to be born in a Brahma realm. A person who has made a great offering like Mallika, or a monk who has practiced a pure sila for many years, may still be born in a woeful realm for some reason. Moreover, even they are born in a Sugati realm, it is not certain which karma will bring their rebirth. On the other hand, Mahagata karmas, jhana chetana, will surely bring a patisandhi, if not for the foregone specific reasons that which I mentioned. Hence they are called garuka karmas. So are called garuka karmas. They are sure to give results other than the few reasons. However, kusala garuka karmas are not designated as niyata karmas or anantariya karmas because their resulting can be prevented by above mentioned means. Then it is not necessary that a jhana to be mastered in order to get the rebirth in the jhana world, in Brahma world. Even just if someone dies just after attaining the jhana, still he will be born in the Brahma realm. Next page, 10.89. Chetana of Magga-chittas are called Kusala Niyata Kammas in Dhammasangani, and Kusala Anantariya Kammas or Anantarika Kammas, because in Ratana Sutta it is mentioned Anantarika Samadhi, right? So they can be called Anantarika because it gives result immediately after his existence. Akusala Anantarika Kamma gives results immediately after the death. Kusala Anantarika Karma, Magga Karma, gives results immediately after his existence. But the thing is, Magga Chetana is not considered as Garuka Karma. Why? If you remember the beginning of the lectures, I mentioned these 4 classifications, Garuka, Asana, Achinna, Kataka, is for the order they come from to give the rebirth. Magga Chetana is never going to give a rebirth. Magga Chitta, Magga would cut off the rebirth. It is not supporting the rebirth. So if someone attains Sotapannahood, he will not be born in the Dugati realm, he will be born in the Sugati realm. That is because the causes for Dugati is cut off. He is not born in the Sugati because of the Magga. He is born in the Sugati, that is because it is impossible, there are no causes to drag him to the woeful realms. So therefore, we have to keep in mind, no one is born in a Sugati realm because of Magga Chitta. Magga Chitta is against the birth. Sotapatti Magga Chitta, cut off the reasons that would take you to the woeful realms. Sakadagami Magga Chitta, cut off the reasons that would give a third rebirth in the Kama realm. Maximally you can have 2 rebirths in the Kama realm, in Sakadagami Magga Chitta. Anagami Magga Chitta, cut off the reasons to be born in the Kama realm. Arahata Maggachitta cut off the reasons to be born in the Brahma. So likewise, Maggachittas cut off the reasons for the rebirth. It's not supporting the rebirth. When the certain causes are cut off, if the Dugati reasons are cut off, person is only to be born in the Sugati. That is a different case. So we have to keep in mind, Magga Chetana not consider Garuka Kamma in this sense. It can be called a Garuka Kamma because it's a heavy Kamma. Maybe it is possible according to a different approach, but not in this approach. This approach means the priority of coming forth to give the Patisandhi. Magga Kamma is not going to give a Patisandhi. It would cut off the Patisandhi. Then the last point with regard to Garuka Kammas. A Garuka Kamma reaches the Okasakata level. It gets the opportunity immediately after it is done. So if someone has done a Garuka Kamma, he becomes destined to be born in the next life. His life is become destined. But if it is Kusala Garuka Kamma, this can be prevented by some reason. But Akusala Garuka Kamma cannot be prevented. So when someone kills a mother or father, like Ajata Sattu, that is the moment he becomes destined. So his Garuka Kamma gets the opportunity to give the next rebirth. So it's not necessary that whether at that time, that moment a Kamma come from, no, it's already come forth. It cannot be prevented. That is called the fixed nature. So as if someone attains the jhana, his next rebirth is fixed to be born in the Brahma. Unless he loses because of a nivarna of not practicing, or because of a wish, or because of a higher jhana or a wish jhana, otherwise his destination is Brahma world. So when the Garuka comes, but not like the dana. If you do a dana, for example, it's not that your life, surely you will be born. It's not going to get the opportunity immediately after the dana is done. But there are very rare cases. One time, Mahamoggallana visited the Devara. Then he found an empty Deva mansion. Then he asked the deities, where is the owner? The owner has not been born yet. You know what? Yes, is it? Then he came, and when he checked, or maybe he checked over there, they mentioned, the deities mentioned, the doer of the Kamma is still living in the human world. Because of the Kamma was so powerful, his mansion has already occurred and he is about to be born in the Devara. These are exceptional cases. But normally, Garuka Kammas, if you perform the Garuka Kamma, immediately that is going to getting the opportunity to give the rebirth. So what happened to Ajatasattu? The moment he killed his father, he couldn't sleep. When his mind is coming into that peaceful state, sleep is one kind of a peaceful state. Mind has to be peaceful to fall into sleep. So when it was coming into this peaceful state, he started to see the fire of Avicii. So he couldn't sleep. So what was his decision? What did he do was, because since he cannot sleep, he gathered the entire court every night. So the ministers also couldn't sleep, because the king gathers them and talks with them. So they also wanted to get released from this problem. In the end, they suggested to meet some ascetic. And also a king is interested in studying the Dhamma, studying a doctrine. So Jivaka somehow brought him to Buddha. After listening to the Samanya Pala Sutta, that from that moment onwards, after he went, then that is the moment he could sleep well after killing his father. But unfortunately, because of wrong association, he ended up in the Lohakumbhi hell. But he will be a Pacheka Buddha in future one day. So then we come to the Asana Kamma, very short time left. Asana Kamma is the unwholesome Kamma that is done close to death. Close to death. So they are the Kammas done close to death, but before the last Maranasana Viti. So before the last Maranasana. But referring to the Mahakamma Vibhanga Sutta, Lady Sayadaw says that Michaditi Kamma and Samaditi Kamma, even done in the last mind Viti, mind process, can be a Asana Kamma to give the rebirth. It means even the Samaditi and Michaditi Kammas done in the last mind Viti, mind process, can give a rebirth. Because if you go into the Pali, I have mentioned with the ball letters, Buddha mentions, if I read starting from, Tatrananda, Jayam Puggalo, either Panatipati Adinadani, among a person is doing these evil deeds, killing, stealing, and so forth. Kayasa Bheda Paramarana, Apayan Duggati Minipatan Nirayam Upapajati. He will be born in a woeful state. Puppevasatang Katang Hoti Papakamma. Maybe he has done a Papakamma. Because this is talking about another ascetic observing a person doing evil deeds. So then he sees that person is born in the woeful realm. So Buddha says there are, he sees one possibility. This is Mahakamma Vibhanga Sutta, a very nice sutta. Ascetic sees a person doing a karma. Then he recognizes he is born in a woeful realm. So the ascetic considers because of this akusala karma, he is born in the woeful realm. Buddha said he cannot come into conclusion because of this one possibility. There can be another 3 possibilities. Maybe he is born because of a karma done before that, not only the karma he observed. The ascetic, certain ascetic observed, he is doing an evil deed, then he finds he is born in a woeful realm, then he links this. Buddha said, maybe it can be a different karma done in the past. Maybe because of a different karma done after the deed that was observed. That is what he says, Pacchavasatang katang hoti papakamman dukkha vediniya. Or either, Buddha gives another statement, Marana kale vasa hoti miccha ditti samatta samadhina. Maybe at the moment of death, he observes miccha ditti. The same way, someone is born in the Sugati, maybe because of all these reasons. Sometimes because of the samadhi observed at the moment of death. So Lady Shadow says, if you go to the bottom of the page, Lady Shadow comes into the above notion, looking into the phrase, Marana kale vasa michaditi samaditi samatta samadhina. She's looking into this phrase because at the moment of death, someone observes michaditi and samaditi, not abhijja vyapada. So why only michaditi samaditi is mentioned? As he considers, Marana kale can even include the last viti at the end of which a being dies. Therefore, Michaditi and Samadhiti karmas arising even at the last mind process before death can also act as asana karma in giving the next rebirth. So he says, all the other karmas cannot give which all the other chittas cannot happen, karmas cannot happen in the last viti. But Michaditi karma, Samadhiti karma can occur and give a rebirth in the last viti. Right? That is his opinion. So then another point is asana karma, not only done close to death, but karmas that are remembered close to death. Maranasana also become asana. This is asana karma. This is not just remembering. You purposely remember something. It's like sometimes a karma comes forth by its force and you start to remember this karma. That is either a karma nimitta, gati nimitta, you see, and we'll be born in a certain realm. But this is the natural process of karma coming forth to give rebirth. But close to that, someone remembers purposely or is asked to remember something. So like the king Duttagamini, he remembered the killing of the killings he did in the war. So Arahant came and caused him to remember the good deeds he did. So likewise, in such a case, if someone strongly remembers a karma that he did close to death, if he remembers, this also can act as an asana karma. So there are 2 types of asana karma. Karma that is done close to death, or the karma that is remembered as close to death. If a being has not accumulated the garuka karma in his life, asana karma gets the opportunity to give forth the following rebirth. Another name for it is yadasana karma. Then achinna karma is the habitual karma, commonly practiced karma. Maybe we may be doing certain karmas like chanting, giving charity, observing sila daily, weekly, monthly, annually. So this kind of karma, because we have accumulated a lot, it becomes very powerful. So Buddha has mentioned in many suttas, a person who frequent wholesome deeds will be born in a wholesome good realm. Who frequent unwholesome deeds will be born in a woeful realm. So this is because of achinna karma, the habitual karma you would call. But if someone has practiced both habitual karmas, good and bad, doing good and also doing bad, right? Doing good and doing bad. For example, giving charity, also killing others, beings. Sometimes saving the beings, but sometimes stealing others' property. So these are mixed karmas, right? So in such cases, he will not be born in a very higher realm, most of the cases. He will be born either in a human realm or a Vinipatika Asura like a realm, and he would encounter both suffering and pleasures. And if he is akusala karma gets the opportunity, he may be born as a Vemanika Peta or a animal, and also would encounter some pleasures during his woeful life. So, but it doesn't mean that all the humans are born having done good and bad deeds. We are talking about a human. If someone does good and bad deed, both, this is the procedure what happens to them. This is also mentioned in the teachings, direct teachings. When someone has done a certain karma, then this habitual karma, there's another type of habitual karma. You have done a certain strong karma and you keep on arousing happiness towards it or remorse towards it, upon it. So keep on remembering this karma throughout the life or regretting about this karma throughout the life. This also become an achinna karma. So a karma which has been frequently done or frequently remembered throughout the life also become an achinna karma. So it is very important that we forget the past karma that we did, akusala, and remember the wholesome deeds that we have done. So therefore it's better to write the karmas that you do in a book normally, right? The merit book is very important. Because when the Duttagamini was going to die, the king, he said, oh, bring my meritorious book. Then they will start to read the book to the king. So, because you cannot remember all the things that you have done, right? So it's very good that you write them, and in close of death, if you don't attain the nobility, ask someone to read. You have to watch your disciples, so then it will cause you happiness. And surely this will lead you to a good destination. If, at least. So then, 10.98, then a question may arise. Is Achinna Kamma not powerful than the Asanna Kamma? Sure. Achinna Kamma is much powerful than Asana. Because Asana Kamma is something that you do deep close to the death. Sometimes the mind also weak. How Achinna Kamma is only done once close to death, remembered close to death. Achinna Kamma is something which has been done frequently, so the power is very high. So why, we would say, if so, Achinna Kamma is more powerful, why Asana Kamma gets the opportunity before Achinna Kamma? A simile is being given in the commentaries because it is proximate to the death. If you go to the page number 57, right, before 10.99, there's a quotation. When the door of a cow pen, crowded with oxen and cows is open, in a cow pen, a lot of cows are there, the door is open. What happens normally? When the cows are brought into the cow pen, who comes first? The strong, young cows will come, run first, and the old, feeble cows will follow them. So when they close the door, the young cows will be inside the pen, feeble cows will be near the door. So when the door is open, who will come out first? The feeble, old oxen will come out, while the young, strong men, cow, are inside the cow pen. So likewise, when the Achinna Kamma still has the strong power, but if the Asana Kamma is strong enough, it would get the opportunity before the Achinna Kamma. So, and before that. But please keep in mind, not all Achinna Kamma is going to give result. If the cow is too feeble, too weak to stand up, the young oxen will go before him, right? So likewise, this Asana Kamma should also be developed to a very high level to be given in a rebirth, right? So there are some stories that people having done a lot of bad akusala deeds could do good deeds in also death and was fortunate to be born in a good way. Then come the Katattaka. Now we study three types of karma: Garuka, Asana, Achinna. So any karma that is not designated as Katatta karma, not designated as any of these three karmas, is called Katatta karma. Katatta karma is a karma which is capable to give rebirth, but not a Garuka karma, no Asana karma, nor Achinna karma. Karma that do not fall into the above three categories and has the ability in producing a rebirth is called Katatta karma. These sorts of karmas include any karma that has been done capable in giving rebirth, but except a Garuka karma, but not frequented or not regularly rejoiced or aroused remorse of woe. So these are the facts for Garuka karma. Garuka karma, if you keep on rejoicing on it, become Achinna karma. If you do something close to death, it is Asana karma. So about them, any other karma which was done and has the ability to give a result in rebirth, it would be a Katatta. For example, you offer dana once a life, and suddenly there was no Achinna, Asana, Garuka karmas, that karma would give the opportunity, give the result to a rebirth. Karmas done in previous life and still has the ability to produce rebirth are also called Katatta. Two types of Katatta. That in the story of the deity Subrahma, 500 goddesses suddenly died and were born into Avicii hell due to a karma they had accumulated in a past life. So that was a very unfortunate story. And him and the remaining 500 female deities were also going to be born in the hell in 7 days. So he ran to the Buddha, came to the Buddha, and Buddha preached them Dhamma, and they became Sotapanna. So they were saved. So but the other 500, maybe according to literature, are still suffering. So when there is no Garuka Kamma, Asanna Kamma, or Achinna Kamma to give the rebirth, Hatatta Kamma gets the opportunity. Right? These are the points that I would like to discuss. So in this lecture, we mentioned about some kammas which are not designated as Garuka, but are quite heavy. That is Anantariya Sadisa. Then 3 types of kammas that would not prevent the Sagga but the Magga. Bhikkhuni Dusaka have to be analyzed, analytically explained. Then Arya Upavada, Arya Paribhasana, accusing a noble and threatening a noble. Then the Kusala Garuka Kammas, which can be prevented by some means, but still they fall into be called Garuka Kammas, but they are not Niyata Vanantariya Kammas. And also mention why Magga Kamma is not a Garuka Kamma. Right? Magga Kamma is not a Garuka. Then Asanna Kamma, there are 2 types of Asanna Kammas, which was done close to death and which was remembered close to death. And also special type of Asana Kamma which can happen at the last mind stream, mind VIII process near death, before death. Achinna Kamma is also twofold. One, what we frequent regularly and also frequently rejoice or regret upon. Then also explain why Asana Kamma is more powerful, gets the opportunity over Achinna Kamma even though it's weaker. Then Katata Kamma is any Kamma that was done in this life which is not a Garuka Asana or Achinna Kamma, or a Kamma which has the ability to give a rebirth which was done in a past life. So these are the priority, order of priority, how the Kammas would give the following rebirth. So I will conclude the lecture. Yeah, if you have one more question, 2? Yeah. Okay, then we will meet tomorrow.